Last night in Riga, it was minus 13 Celsius. Welcome to Travelcaster, the travel pod that takes you there. Our Latvian journey began in the last episode, where we took in Riga's old town, experiencing its varied nightlife, and sampled some tasty treats at the city's market. We also went up a windy tower. But today it's time to get out of the capital and into the countryside. So join us on the journey. It's Saturday morning, and after a great night out in Riga's old town, we're going to get out of the city today to somewhere else. We're going to be travelling around 50 kilometres to the east of where we are now. It's 10 to 9 in the morning on a February Saturday, and the thermometer, if I can even say it, reads minus 6, with the wind chill minus 13. So I've wrapped up warm. It's a relatively early start for me, and I'm heading to the central train station.
Latvia has an excellent public transport system, and there are plenty of options for day trips without having to splash out on an expensive organised tour. Open the map and take your pick. Today, we're heading east from Riga to the Sigulda National Park.
As we move away from Riga, we've come away from the city and into this beautiful countryside. There are pine trees, frozen lakes all around us as we stop off at these little stations on the way. It's minus 8 outside, but it's a pretty picture. And the train's fairly modern too as well. This is going all the way to Tallinn today. It's got good air conditioning, keeping us nice and warm, and Wi-Fi on board too, which helps with things like recording podcasts. And an hour after we left Riga, here we are at our destination for today, the town of Sigulda. Population 15,000, but that relatively small population belies what really goes on here, because this is the place for outdoor stuff all year round. And today we're going to be getting up above the clouds. Well, sort of towards the clouds. Maybe not above. You can get a fill of adrenaline here though. We'll tell you a bit more about that later. Now, when you first get to Sigulda, you may think it looks like a fairly workaday kind of town. There's bars, cafes, there's a library, a pharmacy, that kind of thing. A little shopping centre too. But a 15-minute walk brings you here, and it's along the flat as well, to Sigulda Adventures, because this area is known as Latvia's mini Switzerland. Below me is the beautiful Gauja Valley. The river is frozen today. It's about 80 metres down there. Across the other side of the valley, I can see Sigulda Castle. Now, up here at Sigulda Adventures, you can do all kinds of adventurous things. If you'd like, you can go on a bungee jump. No, thank you. You can hire a mountain bike for €19 or an e-bike for €29. I'm going to opt for something a little bit more sedate, because I'm going to take a ride across the valley on the cable car.
Except for during the very worst weather, the Sigulda cable car operates all year round. An adult return ticket costs €19, while for a family of 4, it's €50. You can opt for a one-way ticket, taking one of the forest walking trails back down the valley. The cable car runs every 30 minutes in the off-peak season, and every 15 minutes at busy times.
The ride on the cable car took less than 10 minutes, but boy, was it a stunning view right across the valley. And guess what? The sunshine has come back. Despite the snow and the frozen river, it is a beautiful winter's day. When you arrive on the Sigulda side, what I thought was Sigulda Castle was in fact the manor house. The castle itself is now in ruins, dates back to the 13th century. But all around here is the Sigulda estate. Now, the manor house is currently used as a rehabilitation centre, so sadly it's not open to the public. But there are plenty of other fascinating historical buildings hereabouts, including a lovely old stable block, which is now converted into a cafe. It's true that at Travelcaster we like to normally take you off the beaten track when it comes to tourism, but to be honest, you can do a lot worse than spending a day in Sigulda. It's just an hour from Riga, plenty of trains, and once you get here, there's a whole choice of activities. If you are the adventurous type, yes, you can go for a bungee jump. Or, if like me, you can just take the cable car across the valley and have a nice gentle stroll in the woods hereabouts. And all around you are beautiful historic buildings, each with their own story, helpfully told in local information boards. In the summertime, this would be a perfect family day out as well, with plenty of places to stop, enjoy a picnic, or have a coffee in the little cafe. Sigulda has got it all.
We thought you'd like to know that we've more than 50 episodes of the Travelcaster podcast on this very platform. Be sure to subscribe or head to travelcaster.blog, where you'll find an A to Z of locations for inspiring trips. Happy browsing!
We've already talked about how cold it is in Riga at the moment, but here by the Daugava River bridge that carries the railway to the main station and the main road along the outskirts of the old town, you can really see the extent of it, because this river, which is 1,000 kilometers long, which begins in Russia, runs all the way through Belarus and into the Gulf of Latvia, is today completely frozen over. It's an amazing scene, particularly with a nice train running over the bridge in the background there. I don't think I've ever seen such an expanse of river frozen over in this way. And there are little lagoons and offshoots of the river around the city, normally home to things like water parks where you can go on a pedalo and things like that. Earlier on, I saw a couple of brave cyclists trying out the ice. It's amazing. Now, there are some places you can go in Europe where you can stroll along historic walls and fortifications. Less so here in Riga, but there is an important part of its history still remaining. The Swedish Gate is one of only 8 that still exists today, and it was an important entrance and exit from the city when it was fortified, when, as the name suggests, Latvia was occupied by Sweden. And just along from the Swedish Gate are some reconstructed bit of the city walls, which have a couple of bars and restaurants and other accommodations within. Now, after all that sightseeing, it's nice to get away from the crowds, and Bastelkanas Park is one of the prettiest places to come for a quiet stroll and admire, well, the beautiful parkland. It's got a canal running through it, which today is frozen over, plenty of trees, and in the centre of it, one of the most important structures in the whole of Riga. It is the Freedom Monument, which was constructed in 1935 to honour the soldiers who were killed during the First World War. Now today, it's guarded by 2 uniformed soldiers between the hours of 9 and 5, and every hour on the hour they change the guard, so you can see a bit of ceremonial elegance in play. And talking of elegance, halfway down the park, cross over the bridge and you will see the National Opera House. Very arty, very beautiful, particularly in today's snow. Now, you don't have to visit Latvia in the dead of the winter to see it at its best. Riga, in fact, has plenty of attractions all year round, and just north of the city, 30 minutes away, is the stunning white sandy beach of Jurmala, overlooking the Baltic Sea. Latvia is a country of contrasts, a country of history, and it's well worth a long weekend of your time. That's going to wrap it up from this edition of the podcast. But to find out how to get here and what to do when you arrive, head to travelcaster.blog, where you'll see all of the details. Don't forget as well to join us again for another edition of Travelcaster, the travel pod that takes you there.